Let's go to Western Sydney now. There's not going to be a nuclear power plant there, but as I mentioned at the top of the show, all of us will be affected by this plan if it does get up. So joining me now is Independent MP Dai Lee. Dai, do you accept that people in the regions perhaps feel really different to people in the cities about this plan? And from what we can see this morning, at least initially, there does seem to be support in the electorates where these would be built. What do you think?
Look, first of all, the Liberal Party is not in power. They haven't won government yet. So I suppose this is quite hypothetical. And for me, the conversation around nuclear or any source of type of energy just, I think, highlight the issue, which is really very core issue in our community, which is energy prices and our energy bills and the cost of living. And I have said to you this many times when I've gone door knocking, and I just, last week, when we speak with people, the first thing that they raise with me is the energy bill,
Right.
petrol prices and grocery prices have gone up and they're struggling. So, any government, I think at this point in time, need to really address how do we actually tackle that? How do we alleviate the pressures, the cost of living pressures that many communities, and in particular my community in Fowler, are experiencing? You can talk about this type of energy, that type of energy till kingdom come, but if we don't actually address the current crisis in terms of the energy bills and wholesale electricity prices have gone down, why is it then that not being passed on to people? So that's why we're talking about other things when we can't even resolve what's actually happening now in our community.
Yeah, that's
and that
right.
is wholesale energy prices have gone down. Look at why isn't that being actually passed on to consumers?
Yeah, that's right. And that's a really good question, Di. But I mean, at the moment, we've had these climate wars for so long. And rightly, we're talking about what the cost of nuclear might be. But what I find really frustrating is this government doesn't talk about the cost of renewables right now and the added transmission lines and who pays for that. Well, that's added onto our bills and taxpayers are paying for it. And there's no talk about, what that 10 to 20% other than renewables will be to provide baseload power. Now, I put that to you because I think this election will be about the cost of living, not nuclear. And I say that because it's about the cost of energy prices. And I think at the very least, Peter Dutton has tapped into this. Once you see a cost of living crisis like this, yes, we all want to see emissions come down and believe that should happen. Australia should do its role. But priorities start to change. Have you detected that in your community?
Look, absolutely. Look, and I have said this since my election. I have detected that cost of living has been an issue. And obviously, for the last 12 months, both the major parties have been talking about something else. And this year they start to talk about cost of living and suddenly coming up with all these ideas about how to address it. But they should have started to address the government in particular as soon as they got elected.
Yeah.
So energy prices is critical. Grocery food is critical. Petrol, believe it or not, I've been calling the government to actually look at the fuel excise. They're collecting so much in fuel excise, and yet they're not giving anything back to our community. And when I open and knock on people's door and I said, "Oh, what are the issues?" "Oh my God, petrol prices have gone up again. Like we driving so far for work, and the cost of the supply chain, people delivering food, and all of that. These are basic daily needs that communities are suffering." And I'm saying to the government, look at the fuel excise. They're so stubborn. They said they're not going to give the community anything back when people are driving to work, long distances to work. Every day, working Australians are using normal cars still that are needing to fuel petrol. So let's look at how they can alleviate that aspect of people's lives. So, these are the basic. Go out there, speak to the individuals on the ground and, and find out what it is that's impacting your electorate, because that's what I know. Cost of living is priority here in Fowler and in Western Sydney, no doubt.
If I could just get a quick mood test, because I know you do a lot of door knocking in your community, Di. What are you detecting in terms of attitudes towards the major parties? Are people disappointed in Labor? Do you think they'll move away from it the next election? Are they willing to give Peter Dutton a go?
Look, it's funny. Like, when I door knocked, people will complain about the government. And I had a few people who've been Labor supporters for a long time. Look, like I said, I've door knocked hundreds of homes, and a lot of them are not home, but those who stopped to tell me, that they've had enough of Labor. And the Labor today is not of the same Labor that they knew 20 or 30 years ago. So that's the feedback that I get from the people who've lived in the street for 30 or 40 years. And they are traditional Labor voters. So, and probably some of them actually also voted for Labor at the last federal election, and not for me. So for me, that was quite interesting. And I will continue to go out there, engage, and see other. I've done 2 suburbs now, so I'll continue to get up to other suburbs and different
All right.
suburbs of different, communities. So yeah.
Keep us posted, Di. Good to talk to you. See you soon.
Thanks, Laura. Bye.